Hello, welcome back to GP Nail Art. Jessica here. So on my left hand, I have the Madam Glam mani. I'll put that up in the cards for you so you can watch it if you want. But today I am going to be using some more of my MVP acrylics. This is the Glow Up Glitter collection. So yes, they do glow in the dark, and these are all of the colors that come in the collection. But today I'm going to be using the coral and the green. And since these are smaller jars, I am going to use the cupcake liners in order to be able to dip in. I'll be using my Cascade Colorworks. I'm still really loving those liquids as well. And I'm actually going to go ahead and pour out each of the little jars into the cupcake liners. I just felt like it would be easier to kind of dip into the powder versus doing a pour over method. So I'll get into that in just a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and start, of course, with the base coat. I'm going to do 3 full nails of the coral. We're going to do a little bit of an ombre and then 1 full nail of the green. So I have been dreaming and thinking about this coral color ever since I swatched it after I had gotten it. Also here I'm just pointing out I did something a little bit differently because I do the acrylic powder or dip powder as like an overlay on my natural nail instead of doing the builder gel like I used to. I've found that when it comes to peel base, it kind of absorbs into the dip powder and they're a little bit harder to remove. So what I decided to try is put a layer of base coat, any dip powder base coat that you have would work, on top of the dip powder overlay, and then top that with the peel base. It has been working much better. I've been doing, kind of a lot of cleaning and everything for my move that's coming up in April, so I've been washing my hands a lot, and one of them has popped off, but it did come off much easier, and I didn't have to kind of like work at it with having that layer of the base coat under my peel base. So that has been working better. So I'm just doing a full layer. As you can see, I dipped into, kind of laid my nail down into the cupcake liner. I'm just patting those glitters down. I didn't want to do a pour over because usually this has a bit of bigger glitter pieces in it besides all of that, that beautiful shimmer. And look at how gorgeous that is. Oh my god. I love how the camera picks that up. But anyways, I'm getting mesmerized by the sparkle. I'm forgetting what I'm talking about. But I dipped in or laid my finger into the acrylic powder instead of pouring over, because typically when I've done the pour over method in the past, especially for powders that have bigger glitter pieces, you're going to get more of the acrylic powder that's in the mix than you will the glitter pieces. And I'm only doing 1 layer of this. Gigi from MVP Nails, she formulates these acrylics to be 1 coat coverage, especially when you're dipping with them. So I'm not doing a second layer on any of these nails. So I wanted to make sure that I'm getting, coverage all across the whole nail, so I don't have to go in with any more base coat. But I also wanted to make sure that I was picking up those bigger glitter pieces. I didn't want to have to place any. I didn't want to have to do a second layer. If I did the pour over, I might have gotten more of the powder versus the glitters. So something to just keep in mind. And you'll notice that I do quite a lot of, kind of patting down with my finger to make sure that those are laying flat as possible as well. So I just want to make sure when it comes to filing that I'm not going to be filing into any of those glitters. So I'm trying to make sure that they're all patted down and flat as possible. And it was a very smooth application. I'm going to do something a little bit different than what I normally do at the end, but I'll talk about that later as well. But I'm going to move on to the green in just a moment. And I picked the green as well because it has this beautiful corally orangey color shift in it. It's really hard to pick that up on camera. You can see a little bit of like a yellow color shift, and as I move it you might pick up a little bit of the orange, or when I kind of sat it down you can see a little bit of the orange color, but it picks up a lot better in like real life, in person. You can really see that orangey color shift, and I just thought it would pair really well with the coral. But I loved the coral so much I was like, I have to have that on more than just 2 fingers, because I could have done an ombre where it was just my thumb and index with the coral, ombre on my middle finger, and then green on my pinky and ring. But I was like, no, the coral needs to be the star of the show because she's just that pretty. So I decided to do 3 full fingers of the coral. So I'm going to go ahead and start in on the ombre. I am going to use my e.l.f. Eyeshadow blending brush. I find that these are a little bit fluffier and pick up the glitters a little bit better than the denser Wet n Wild eyeshadow brushes that I'll use for ombre sometimes. And that was the color switch that I kind of was wiping the brushes on. I just wanted to make sure there was no random glitters stuck in the brushes from previous manis or anything like that. So that is a very helpful tool as well. So I'm doing a full layer of the base coat. I'm going to start with the coral color, and that's going to go onto the side of the nail that is on the same side as the other nails that have the coral color. So I'm just kind of tapping that. I'm not touching my nail at all with that blending brush. I'm slightly over the nail and tapping that to let it fall down, and I'll just kind of rotate or move my nail as I need to, and then I'm going in with the green on the other side, so same way. And excuse my wayward pinky there, it has a mind of its own sometimes. So I'm gonna do the same thing and really pat down those glitters, but look at that ombre. I mean, that came out perfectly, and like I said, I'm only doing the 1 layer and it just came out perfect. And especially since that green has that coral shift in it, it just you know, helped that to look like it's blended really nicely. Alright, so I just had to clean up my table a little bit there. I have not done anything else or any other steps at this point. What I'm doing now, because like I said, I wanted to do something a little bit different in regards to kind of finishing this mani off. I'm going to do a layer of base coat. I was going to cap these in clear. I wanted to try something a little bit different, just to kind of see how it would work, but I am going to do a full layer of the base coat on every single nail, and then I'll apply activator, and then I will be kind of you know, filing and buffing just the base coat that I'm applying now once that's hardened after the activator. So I think my thought process behind this was that since I only did 1 layer of the glitters, You could cap that in clear, but I think usually when I cap in clear, I then want to go in with my e-file to make sure that everything is nice and smooth and that I have a nice, blend around my cuticle line so that it looks very natural. And the issue I think I have personally sometimes with e-filing is that I'm a little too heavy-handed with the e-filing. So I didn't want to, in this instance, file so much that I started filing into the glitters, especially around the cuticle. And I didn't, and since I only have one layer of this acrylic powder as well, I didn't want to end up filing any of it away. There's no additional layers, on top of that first layer besides the clear to kind of, protect those glitters any further. So I was just afraid of filing into the glitters too much. So when it came to filing on this one, I only used my emery board, my hand file. I did not use an e-file at all. So after the activator set, I let that set for about 2 minutes. Here's the filed after I filed. And really all I did was shape them, so my sidewalls and my free edge. And then I just kind of lightly filed the surface, like very lightly, just to make sure that it was smooth. I didn't file into any of the glitters. I filed maybe a little bit around my cuticle edge just to make sure it was a nice crisp line, but not very hard pressure. I feel like I sometimes hand filing, I have a little bit more or better control than the e-file. Sometimes you don't realize how much pressure, and you really don't have to apply a lot of pressure with an e-file, but I think sometimes I don't realize that I'm a little too heavy-handed with it at some points. So anyways, now that I've babbled on and on, I did apply the second layer of activator, so that's going to help your top coat cure and be nice and shiny. And I was just rubbing off any excess activator from my skin and the surface of the nail with a little bit of alcohol on that cotton round. And I'm going to go ahead and go in with the top coat at this point. So I did speed this up a little bit, but again, for your dip powder top coat, you want to do 2 to 3 swipes all the way from your cuticle to the free edge. Wipe off that brush before you go back into the bottle for more. And that's just to make sure that, especially on this first layer, if there's any activator on your brush, that you're wiping that off so that you don't contaminate your liquid and you don't contaminate your brush. If the activator stays on that brush, you can find that the bristles of that brush that you're applying the top coat with start to get hard and stuck together. And then if that activator gets inside your bottle of top coat, the top coat could start to turn kind of a goopy mess. So we don't want that, and this is a brand new bottle of liquids as well, so I want to make sure that they stay as clean as possible. So on the second layer here, I'm just going over the whole nail, and you can do more swipes. You can get the free edge. So even though I'm using Peel Base, I want to protect them a little bit. I don't want them to pop off within, hours or anything. They did pop off kind of next day, but like I said, that was because I've been doing a lot of cleaning and washing my hands and things like that. So I wasn't expecting these to stay on for very long, even though I really, really want them to, because the colors are gorgeous. Also, I've been playing around or thinking about using all 5 colors to do a vertical ombre, so like kind of a color change on every single nail. If that's something that you want to see, let me know in the comment section. And I'm just finishing up with my cuticle oil here. So I do like to go all the way around my cuticle and even underneath my nail, because that area can get dry too. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up with the cuticle oil. and rub that all in. But let me know what you think about me doing like the vertical ombre on every nail from one color to another with this whole glow up collection. I think it would be really pretty, but I'd like to know your thoughts as well. Also, when I get to 250, I'll be doing a giveaway, so there might be a little bit of like, I'm not sure exactly when that will happen. We're 229 right now, so we're very, very close. If I can do it before I leave for Connecticut in April, we'll go ahead and do that, but if not, it may not be until after I move and get settled. Well, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. There's some glow coming up. Look at that glow. The camera didn't want to focus, but it is what it is. Until next time, bye for now.